Hey guys, welcome back to the Simple and Smart SEO Show podcast. I'm your host, Crystal Waddell, and today I am solo doing a follow through episode that's not quite on Friday. But I thought, you know what? We have been churning and burning since the beginning of this year. To me, 2025 seems like it is going by so quickly. And I thought, why not just take a moment and slow down and catch up, make sure I'm implementing all of this amazing insight that I'm getting from our guests. So that's what I'm doing today. Today's follow through episode is from my conversation with Mordy Oberstein. So, Mordy is the head of brand at Wix and also the head of his own consultancy called Unify Brand Marketing. He gave us several tips that I wanted to chat about. And I just also wanted to show you how I was implementing it in my business. First of all, could we talk about these guns? I think a lot of you guys know that I've been going to Orange Theory. And so I'm pretty proud that I no longer have just a SEP in my arm. I actually have a bicep, two muscles. So I was bragging to my husband about that. But yeah, so let's start first with Morty's comment that many brands are like sandcastles in the sky. And Morty is a guy who knows a thing or two about branding. And one of his truth bombs was that if you're not something, then you're nothing. And to go a little bit further, he's like, when you are something, you're for someone, which also means that you're not for a lot of other people. And I wanted to share a little bit about how I discovered this for myself. For those of you who don't know, I own an e-commerce company called collageandwood.com where I sell giant wooden photo props and photo collages for athletes. So when athletes reach their senior year of sports, either in high school or college, a lot of times their school will have something called a senior night or a senior day. And on that day, the coaches or parents might give the athletes some gifts. And that's where I come in. So they'll come to me at Collage and Wood, send me their pictures. I'll make them a really cool photo keepsake. And that's my business. I also sell other things as well, though. A lot of people don't know that. Like I sell wooden signs like this one right here. And I also sell like baby nursery names and that type of stuff. Anything that I can cut out of wood with my giant CNC machine, I can make. But I realized when I was talking on social media one day to a new mom who needed a nursery wall letter for her baby's nursery. And then the next day I was talking about senior photo props. There was a big disconnect there, right? Because those two people are not the same customer, at least not at the same time. And so what I decided to do was not stop making the nursery wall names, but I did decide to focus my marketing specifically to senior parents and senior athletes and really just senior year in general. When I first started, I wanted to serve everybody. I wanted to serve photographers, parents, event planners, sports teams, new moms. But when I tried to market to everybody, it just felt like a little off. So then I doubled down on senior night gifts. And that really made all the difference in the world because instead of people being confused when they came to my profiles, they were like, oh, this is the girl that makes those senior gifts. Cool. And then I expanded a little bit more and it was senior photo props. And so senior photographers come to my site and they're like, yeah, this is the girl that makes the senior photo props. So it really helped position my company as the company for senior gifts and senior photo props. I really tried to focus specifically on the moms of athletes and my business started to grow. So the lesson here is that I completely agree with Morty. Your brand needs to stand for something. So who are you for? Be strong in that. I think a lot of business owners are nervous. If I take away the nursery name signs, then I'm going to lose a lot of business. I'm going to lose all of the moms that were going to come to my site. That was never the majority of my business anyway. So even though I sell less nursery name signs now, I also sell way more photo props and for a lot more money. And then there's that part of who are you not for? Another element of this was pricing. And there was a time where my prices were so low, I was essentially making things and sending them to people for free. Sometimes I was almost paying for it. And that is like really embarrassing to admit, but it was a learning opportunity. And I remember the day that I doubled my prices, a couple weeks later, after I'd gotten some sales and built some confidence that my pricing was okay and I was going to make it at a higher price, one of my former customers emailed me and said, "Hey, what's the deal? Your prices are twice as much as they were before." I explained to her, I said, "Hey, I actually wasn't making any money at that price. That was what it cost me to make and ship these numbers to you." And she didn't buy. And for the first time in my life, I was okay with that. Because if someone can't understand that I'm in business to make money and to provide a service and a product, but at a profit, then they're not my customer. And that's okay. So I hope that you find your brand's core identity as well and that you lean into it without fear of rejection or judgment and go out there and just make your brand the best that it can be. And that's a nice segue into another fun little quote that Morty shared, which is no risk it, no biscuit. And so I think it's something that will always make me smile. And the next time I'm thinking about making a big change in my business, I will definitely be thinking no risk it, no biscuit. Okay, the second point I wanted to follow up on is SEO and branding and how it's the new power couple. So Morty made it clear SEO and branding are no longer separate things. Again, when I think about Collagen Wood and I started with this SEO journey for my Shopify store, I was focused on three things: keywords, rankings, and traffic. But even when I hit the first page, people weren't buying. I was getting 20,000 visitors a month and my sales stayed the same. So I thought, maybe I missed something here in this search engine optimization thing. And the reason why this was happening was because my SEO was optimized for traffic, not for conversions. And I had no thought to my customer's journey or how I could build a relationship along the way. And once I started crafting stories around senior night and really trying to appeal to that emotional buyer, that person who their child is leaving the nest. This is one of the final celebrations of their young adult life. And I started celebrating parents, honoring their sacrifices, and tapping into their emotions. That's when the sales started rolling in. And I also took it a step further. I used Honeybook to create a workflow that reminded me to touch in with my clients. So it's like, yeah, I have an email list where I'm trying to reach out to them and talk to them, but I also created these workflows within the experience so that I could touch base with my clients and let them know, hey, I know this is important to you. It's important to me too. Let me talk to you about that and why it's important to me and how I want to be here to support you. And also let me build that trust with you so you know what's going to happen, like what this process is going to look like every step of the way from start to delivery. So the lesson for me here that I can tie back to what Morty said about SEO and branding being interconnected and not separate is that SEO isn't just about being found, it's about being remembered. And the question that I want to ask you, and what I would suggest for you as a follow up activity for yourself, is take a look at your pages. Are they cold and transactional, or do they have some sort of personality to them? Are they talking to this customer that's visiting your site? And do they connect with that person? One really great tip that I don't know where I heard it, somewhere along the way, but it's just to remember that someone is on the other side of that screen. So it's not a whole bunch of someone's at the same time. It's one person. So you want to write as if you are having a conversation with that one person. So pull up your website and ask yourself, does this page just rank or does it resonate? And then let me know how that goes. Okay, so number 3 is this idea about brand expansion done right or horribly wrong. And this kind of goes back to this idea that I chose one product to focus on. And then as I was developing relationship building around that product, then I built from there. So let's take a giant number for senior photographers. One thing that you always hear about in e-commerce is increasing cart size, right? Or lifetime value of a customer. But what do you do when your customer is usually buying for a one-time event? That's when you have to think about, how can I sell the most at one time to this particular customer? And a lot of people talk about upsells and adding different things in. When I originally started, my numbers were connected. So it's like I had one photo prop that had the year, like 2025. Then I realized if I sell the props as individual numbers, I can sell giant props, but then I can sell 2 to 4 at a time because sometimes people will want all 4 digits of that number, or sometimes they'll just want two. But either way, now I have a bundle of a product in one order rather than just selling one single product. The other great thing that's led to is repeat customers. So, whereas I thought that was going to be a one time sale, those customers are senior photographers who come back next year when they need the six, and the year after that when they need the seven. So, it's allowed me to really build a relationship with my customers year over year and provide a product that they need and utilize in their studios. Their clients come to their studio expecting to see my numbers. So I've become a part of their sales process, not just a vendor of a particular item. So my point is, I've doubled down on what's worked: senior night gifts, emotional storytelling, and making those milestone moments unforgettable, and really generating this desire in my clients to repeat that experience for their clients year after year. So while some people may think, I want to offer a whole bunch of products and I want to expand into a whole bunch of different services, especially if you're just one person, sometimes bigger doesn't always mean better. Smarter and more focus can mean more sales, more revenue, and most importantly, more profit. So here's the takeaway. Before you're thinking about expanding, think about if what you're trying to expand to aligns with what your audience already loves about you, your product, or your service. Is this going to deepen or will it dilute my brand? Because at the end of the day, you want to build brand loyalty and brand advocates. So, whatever you can do to either double down on what's working or expand it into something that's even more awesome, that's going to create the type of clients that are going to refer new clients your way. So, thank you so much for listening to this Follow Through Friday episode. I had a blast chatting with Mordy Oberstein. And in case you missed that episode, I will drop it in the show notes. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful time building your business. And if you're looking for a coach that is all about optimizing your business for your life, I'd love for you to reach out to me. You can visit me at simpleandsmartseo.com. Thanks for joining me. And until next time, I hope you have a great day and keep moving forward.